as a Luxembourgish citizen, I think the life we live right now is possible because the European Union exists.
Did you hear that?
Welcome listeners to the podcast Communicate with the World, sponsored by Europe Direct. Don't believe tourists, we ask the locals.
Hey Nico!
Hi!
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Well, really cool to have you in my podcast, and it's actually really special because, Luxembourg is quite a small country, and you're probably not wondering that is the smallest country we can interview in so far.
I can imagine that, yeah.
Can you give us a small input about you and also afterwards a little bit about Luxembourg?
Okay, so I'm Nico. I'm 23 years old. I'm studying geography and computer science here in Innsbruck. And I've been in Innsbruck now for around about 2 years. Actually totally landed here by accident, I'm very comfortable here. I love it here, and
let's stick with that. What was the accident that you're here now?
So basically I was studying politics in the Netherlands,
okay.
And I did not really like it all that much, and so basically it was a summer semester. I knew that I didn't want to do politics in the Netherlands. Also didn't quite know what else to do. So I kind of landed on geography because it allows me to study other countries and do the things I'm interested in. But also at the same time, it gives you the opportunity to have a quite secure job to fall back on in case something happens.
You said you really like Innsbruck and you're happy here, and we are here next to the inn in front of the city center of Innsbruck. We even see the old town entrance there and the Marktplatz and everything. So how come that we are here? Why is this place special for you?
Well, this space is quite special for me because it's very close to the university, but at the same time it's a place that I associate with, peace and quiet and relaxation. The sort of balance that brought me here as well is that I can do all the things I want to do in the city, but at the same time it's not like other big cities where all you see is concrete.
Let's stick with Luxembourg. Tell us something about Luxembourg. What's some general details, and afterwards we go on with your favorite places.
Sure. So Luxembourg's a small country, about 2,100 square kilometers. It's right next to Germany, Belgium, and France.
Well, how many people are living there?
Around about 600,000. But that's residents. But during the day we have 300,000 commuters that commute from Germany, France or Belgium to work in Luxembourg.
That brings me actually to the next question. Is it possible to work there as a European citizen?
Definitely, yes. And also a lot of international people come to Luxembourg to work. I mean, there's really a diverse population. Most of the kids I went to school with are Luxembourgish and something.
A lot of diversity, right? That's
yes.
Probably also the case why you're all so good in languages.
Yeah, well, as the small one with such big neighbors, you have to kind of adapt. Life in Luxembourg just wouldn't work if we couldn't communicate with our neighbors, and it's a beautiful thing. Since as a kid you kind of learn languages a lot more easily, by the phase you're really realizing what you're doing, it's already become normal to you. So it really helps quite a lot.
Well, let's go back to the question which I already mentioned. What's your favorite place in Luxembourg? Or let's say, what's your favorite thing there?
My favorite thing to do in Luxembourg would probably be Rockheim, which is a big concert venue in the south of the country, and it's really crazy the kind of artists we get there. Like, I really have to say they put in a lot of effort to do that.
And are there some special places or sites which you have to see if you travel to Luxembourg? Actually, I'm going to be in Luxembourg soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in 2 weeks I will be there.
Okay. So
That's
I
just
can...
a side information, but you can already tell me something what I have to see.
Sure, sure. I'll be your improv travel guide. So, Luxembourg City, the old town, is super nice. It's a UNESCO World Heritage. It's really beautiful, and Luxembourg City used to be a fortress. That's kind of also one of the reasons why Luxembourg still exists, was because there was a really big fortress that was super hard to invade. So that's really beautiful. Then we have we call it Müllertal, and it's called the Switzerland of Luxembourg. It's a really nice forested area that has some very nice views, and it's quite famous in Luxembourg as one of the probably the more beautiful spots.
Wow, Luxembourg has public transport for free, which is amazing, and I would love to have that also here in Austria.
So the free public transport was a measure to try and get people to use it more. Luxembourg has quite the traffic problem. It's a mess because Luxembourg City is really where it all happens. All the big companies are in Luxembourg City, and basically a very large part of the country works in Luxembourg City.
Well, if I imagine that 300,000 people are traveling every day to work in Luxembourg City, I can imagine that it's a big mess.
Yes, so there is basically every morning a very large traffic jam. So it's like the buses were already kind of free, to be quite honest, but they added the trains to it as well, and so it's a nice publicity package. And to be honest, like, I've been asked, like when I traveled to Japan, I was asked about our free public transport. So obviously the marketing scheme seems to work.
Publicity all around.
Definitely, yeah.
So you are quite central in the European Union. You're surrounded with many different countries around, and well, I often ask my guests here about European Union and the current situation, because you probably heard about the post-fascism party in Italy, and everyone knows about Brexit. So how is the situation there? Are you positive-minded about the European Union? Do you see the advantages and everything?
Definitely. As a Luxembourgish citizen, I think the life we live right now is possible because the European Union exists.
Did you hear that?
Like, just even the fact that people can so easily commute from our neighboring countries to work in Luxembourg, that's enormous for our economy. Like, half the people that earn their salary in Luxembourg don't live in Luxembourg. That's it makes it possible to have bigger companies be in Luxembourg and actually get the workforce they need. So I am really sad every time I see that populism is still or is regaining sort of its stronghold in Europe. So it does worry me, and I would hope that the European Union tries to implement a more direct democracy because I think the way that the main reason why populism works so well in Europe right now is because every time something's shit, you can just say, oh well, the guys in Brussels, they can't get anything right, and all they do is write stupid laws that no one needs. And that's because the EU is not very transparent. And so I think transparency and really showing people, okay, this is what's great about Europe, reminding them that Europe should not only be mentioned when you need an excuse for why some sort of policy failed horribly, then people would appreciate it, because I think it's beautiful when you build
that. Yeah, exactly. Happy to hear that. Well, in the end, I often ask people about some phrases in their own languages. So I'm curious, can you tell me some important phrases in Luxembourgish?
Sure. So saying,
I will try to say it.
Yeah. Just go for it, man.
Okay.
That's the difference why kids learn languages so quick. The main thing is they just go with it. So that's
don't think about it.
Yeah, don't think about it too much. So hello means moyen.
Moyen? Wow, that's easy. Like,
yeah, there you
like
go.
moin.
Yeah, genau.
Moyen.
Ösch heeschen Nicola.
Osch heeschen Nicola. Osch heeschen Marco.
Genau. Perfect.
You already mix automatically to German, which is funny.
Yeah. Like I can't help myself.
Well, thanks for the phrases. Thanks for all the tips which you gave us about Luxembourg. But one last question: is there something additional what you want to add to the podcast? What every listener should know about Luxembourg or when they travel there?
I think one of the things that people should look forward to is we're maybe known for our banks, but there's a lot of other stuff to discover as well. Like I feel like the Luxembourgish countryside has a lot to offer. It's very beautiful, and there's a lot of art made in Luxembourg. It's a very livable country. So don't only think of us when you think about tax evasion. Also think of us maybe for a nice hiking spot.
In the end, I would say thank you all for all the information, and well, let's stick with Luxembourgish. Tell me again what means thanks and goodbye, and hopefully see you soon in Luxembourg.
Adi, vielmals merci und hoffentlich bis gleich.
Ade, vielmals merci and hoffentlich bis gleich.
Perfect.
Thanks, man. It was a pleasure, Nico.
Thank you as well.
Cool.
Don't believe tourists. We ask the locals.